That was after a series of strong and painful fits of my illness, and whenever my illness worsened and I had several fits in a row, I always lapsed into a total stupor, lost my memory completely, and though my mind worked, the logical flow of thought was as if broken. I couldn't put more than 2 or 3 ideas together coherently. So it seems to me. But when the fits subsided, I became healthy and strong again, as I am now. I remember a feeling of unbearable sadness. I even wanted to weep. I was surprised and anxious all the time. It affected me terribly that it was all foreign, that much I understood. The foreign was killing me. I was completely awakened from that darkness, I remember, in the evening, in Basel, as we drove into Switzerland, and what roused me was the braying of an ass in the town market. The ass struck me terribly, and for some reason I took an extraordinary liking to it, and at the same time it was as if everything cleared up in my head. An ass? That's strange, observed Mrs. Epanchin. And yet there's nothing strange about it. Some one of us may yet fall in love with an ass, she observed, looking wrathfully at the laughing girls. It has happened in mythology. 21 Go on, Prince. Since then I've had a terrible fondness for asses. It's even some sort of sympathy in me. I began inquiring about them, because I'd never seen them before, and I became convinced at once that they're most useful animals, hard-working, strong, patient, cheap, enduring, and because of that ass I suddenly took a liking to the whole of Switzerland, so that my former sadness went away entirely. That's all very strange, but we can skip the ass. Let's go on to some other subject. Why are you laughing, Aglaia? And you, Adelida? The prince spoke beautifully about the ass. He saw it himself, and what have you ever seen? You haven't been abroad. I've seen an ass, Mamun, said Adelida. And I've heard one, Aglaia picked up. The 3 girls laughed again. The prince laughed with them. That's very naughty of you, observed Mrs. Epanchin. You must forgive them, Prince, they really are kind. I'm eternally scolding them, but I love them. They're flighty, frivolous, mad. But why? The prince laughed. In their place I wouldn't have missed the chance either. But all the same I stand up for the ass. An ass is a kind and useful fellow. And are you kind, Prince? I ask out of curiosity, Mrs. Epanchin asked. They all laughed again. Again that accursed ass turns up. I wasn't even thinking of it. Mrs. Epanchin cried. Please believe me, Prince, I wasn't. Hinting? Oh, I believe you, without question. And the prince never stopped laughing. It's very good that you laugh. I see you're a most kind young man, said Mrs. Epanchin. Sometimes I'm not, replied the prince. And I am kind, Mrs. Epanchin put in unexpectedly. I'm always kind, if you wish, and that is my only failing, because one should not always be kind. I'm often very angry, with these ones here, with Ivan Fyodorovitch especially, but the trouble is that I'm kindest when I'm angry. Today, before you came, I was angry and pretended I didn't and couldn't understand anything. That happens to me, like a child. Aglaya taught me a lesson, I thank you, Aglaya. Anyhow, it's all nonsense. I'm still not as stupid as I seem and as my daughters would have me appear. I have a strong character and am not very shy. Anyhow, I don't say it spitefully. Come here, Aglaya, kiss me. Well, enough sentiment, she observed, when Aglaya kissed her with feeling on the lips and hand. Go on, Prince. Perhaps you'll remember something more interesting than the ass. I still don't understand how it's possible to tell things just like that, Adelaida observed again. I wouldn't find anything to say. But the prince would, because the prince is extremely intelligent and at least 10 times more intelligent than you, or maybe 12 times. I hope you'll feel something after that. Prove it to them, Prince, go on. We can indeed finally get past that ass. Well, so, besides the ass, what did you see abroad? That was intelligent about the ass, too, observed Alexandra. The prince spoke very interestingly about the case of his illness, and how he came to like everything because of one external push,